Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Beyond the Playbook podcast, where we talk all things post sports and post grad. I'm your host, Kelsey Sparks, and today we are joined with one of my best friends, Rylee Andrews. So, Rylee,
Hello.
can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background in sports?
My parents immediately put me in gymnastics as soon as I could walk, and I fell in love with it. It taught me so much about good technique and kind of helped build my foundation for what I did in college. My mom was also a cheerleading coach, so I was always around her team. And once I was old enough, I joined my own cheer team and realized I love performing for crowds and just everything that went into cheerleading. My cousin also did all-star cheerleading at a gym called Top Dog All-Stars in Florida, and she encouraged me to try it out. And so from then on, cheer became my passion, and I knew it was something that I wanted to be a part of for like the rest of my life. So I made that my goal.
I love that. No, that's very similar to like how my story was. I started in gymnastics, but that did not last very long. And dance. It was like gymnastics and dance. And then I got into cheerleading at about like three or four like all-star gyms. And it was the same from there. Like just absolutely fell in love with it. So now tell us, was UF cheer always the dream? And then why did you decide to try out for the UF cheer team?
Yes, UF cheer was always a dream. My family has been full of Gator fans as long as I
Yep.
can remember. Yep, my dad would have his friends over to watch the games every single Saturday. And, I wasn't really into football, but, I love watching the cheerleaders on the sidelines. Every
Yeah.
time they popped up on the screen, I was like, hey, that's cool. And since I was already a cheerleader and UF was my dream school, wanting to be a UF cheerleader just felt kind of natural.
I love that. No, that's the same thing. Like I'm sure you were the same, but we had, people over for every Gator game day, and I always had the like little kid like cheer outfit on, like cheer
Yes.
outfit. I love looking at those pictures. It's so cool. So could you tell us a little bit about your experience trying out for UF Cheer? Because I know we got to UF in COVID year, so it was 2020 and everything was really weird. So tell us a little bit about like what that experience was like.
Yes, that was so unfortunate. That was like one of the most traumatizing things that
Oh, it's
I've ever
awful.
gone through. So, in high school, my senior year, I taught myself the fight song because I was
Yeah.
prepping for prepping for tryouts at UF and 2020 our high school got shut down. At first you're kind of thinking, okay, well, maybe it won't last that long. We'll get back to normal soon. And it just kept getting pushed out. Quarantine felt like it lasted 10 years.
Yep.
So then my freshman year of college, I wasn't even gonna apply to UF just because I didn't think I was gonna get in. It's such a hard school to get into.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even going to waste my three free college applications on
Right.
it. My mom encouraged me to do it anyway. She's like, you never know, just try. So I did, and I initially got accepted to the PACE program, which is their online kind of
Yeah.
prereq program, I guess. So that was what I was planning on doing. You can still join the cheer team or any other club on campus when you're in the PACE program. So I was set on doing that. And over the summer of COVID year, the school had called and they said a spot opened up as a traditional student. You can have it if you want it. So luckily, I was able to get that and start in the fall. So that was really nice.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that meant most of my classes were going to be online. And as I was preparing for tryouts, and it was still happening at the time, so I kept prepping, stunting, tumbling, doing everything you can to kind of prepare for that. And they came out and said it would be a virtual tryout. So that's what I started preparing for, and the time came around and it just they never took anybody that year, which was so sad. And I feel
Yeah.
honestly kind of blessed that I didn't cheer that year because I probably wouldn't have done much anyway. I know they were
Yep.
like in the stands cheering, so I'm sure that was not as fun as it could be.
No, yeah, not at all. Like I feel like it worked out how it was supposed to. And I think it was best because, they only had like what, three or four couples at a time during
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah, it was very weird, but no, I love that. So now that we talked a little bit about UF Cheer, what would you say is your favorite memory Cheer has given you?
So going back to like the game days, watching it from home, you could always hear their traditional school songs and you can hear the crowd through the screen sometimes. And every time when it goes down and you can hear it through the screen. Everyone says, "Go, Gators."
Yep.
And I think my favorite memory was when we were doing pregame for the first time. So this was like COVID just ended. It's the home opener, and it's our first time on the field. And during pregame, when the song went dun 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 dun, dun, and the crowd yelled "Go Gators" for the first time, it was like it exceeded all
Yep.
expectations I had, like sent tears to my eyes, and that was kind of the moment that solidified for me that like, whoa, I'm a UF cheerleader.
No, oh my gosh, it's surreal. We do this whole like basically like pregame performance before the games. And honestly, all of that is so like it's a surreal experience and like feeling because, the crowd's like yelling back and like because like as cheerleaders, you're crowd leaders, but like that's like to another level.
It
I
is.
totally relate to that. It's so cool. So kind of like going off of that, what was the best part about cheering for UF?
So I have two things that were my favorite part, but the first one, pretty cliche, but honestly, the best part of cheering for UF was like the amazing friendships I made. Like, I think the bond between your teammates is just different.
Yep.
It's a whole unique level of trust that just makes those friendships much stronger than, like a school friendship. But if I had to pick another favorite, it would be all of the incredible places I got to travel.
Oh,
That traveling at during cheer was such a cool experience. I got to visit Las Vegas, Utah, Louisiana, and Texas all for the first time because of UF cheer.
which is so cool. And like, it's honestly like a combination of those two things because not only are you getting to go to all these like cool places and cool experiences, but like you're doing it with your best friends, which is so
Exactly.
cool. Like, it's so fun. Now, could you give us a glimpse into what it was like, being a student and a cheerleader and you were a content creator? So, like, what was that like?
Yes. Uh, so being a student, I tried to make my academics always be my top priority.
Yep.
But sometimes it didn't always work like that.
Yep.
I love cheerleading and creating content so much that it just never felt like a hassle. If I wasn't studying, I was either editing videos or stunting with my teammates. I actually started content creation to document my life for my future kids and share those experiences with them. So whenever like balancing everything got challenging, I'd remind myself that I'm living my dream life and I what's even better is I get to watch it all back someday. So that's what I tried to remind myself if it ever felt like it was like what am I doing? I'm trying to do all these things at once, but
Yep.
when you think about it like that, it makes it so much easier.
No, it's so cool. I'm so happy that we'll have those videos. Like, even just thinking about like the trip that we just went on, like, a week or two ago, like that will be so cool to like look back on later. So I think that's awesome.
Yes. And like I would record myself and document everything if I could every single day. But sometimes
It's a lot of
it's a
work.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
No, people like do not realize that. I literally told my mom the other day, I was like, you know what? I need to just like start posting more content and like whatever. And when you're saying it, you think it's so easy. And then you go to like film, say just like a morning in your life. And I'm like, I have to set up the camera all the like every single
Right.
time I go to do something or try to get these cool angles. And then I just get fed up with it. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. Like people don't realize it's actually so much work. And then
It
edit.
is. It's like a whole production.
It is. It's a little movie. I'm like, okay, well, we'll get there one day. You graduated from UF last May. How have you been navigating life, post cheerleading and post grad? Could you tell us like a little bit about that?
Yeah. While I was in college, I was very, very nervous about what would happen after I graduated. I would literally have meltdowns occasionally just because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know if this is going to work out. No jobs are hiring me. So I got to figure something out. But
Yeah.
I'm a very type A person, so like figuring it out, creating a schedule and a new routine, that part came easily to me. Um, I'm still trying to figure some things out. But I feel like I'm in a good spot. I'm proud of where I'm at right now, and I'm excited to see where the future is going to bring me.
Oh, I love that. No, that's amazing. So, from cheerleading and honestly just being a college student, you have this kind of strict schedule that you're given and that you're expected to follow. So, what was that like after college, creating your own schedule and, workout? Like we had workouts twice a week, practice twice a week. Like, what was that like post grad and post sports, kind of coming up with your own schedule and like workout routine, all that?
Right. That's a great question. So I thought about this the other day, actually. I was thinking about when I was in high school, you have your 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. school day.
Yep.
You're given your schedule. You go to each class at a certain time. You have lunch at a certain time. You have practice at a certain time. So I think going into college, I took that schedule with me because college, you have so much more freedom
Yep.
to kind of make your own schedule and manage your time differently. So, what I did when I first got to college is I implemented my high school routine and kind of plugged that into my college routine. So, like in high school, I
Oh,
would have a quiz on Wednesday. So, if I had in college, if I had a quiz due on Friday, I would get it done on Wednesday just because that's what I was used to. And I think that
okay.
has helped me so much. And so, kind of similarly, now that I'm post grad, I've kind of taken my college schedule and implemented that into my life. If we had practice on a Tuesday from 8 to 10, maybe I'll go to the gym from 8 to 10 or 8 to 9 even. And then I'll work from 9 to 4 or something like that and kind of like match schedules almost.
That is so cool. I've never even thought about that because no, there would be times in college where it's not necessarily that you miss your high school schedule, but I honestly loved that like you were there for, however long, and then so your teacher told you on Monday that you have a quiz on Wednesday, like you said. And so you got to prepare for that. Whereas college, a lot of it's all due on Sunday, and you're like,
Right.
okay, so like when am I gonna do this? I don't want to leave it all for Sunday. So that's really cool.
Yes.
I never even thought about that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. So now kind of pivoting from that, what would you say is the biggest lesson that cheerleading taught you and that you will be able to apply throughout your life?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that cheerleading taught me, and even along with school and content creation, is time management.
Yep.
Um, Time management has just become so much more essential now that I'm pretty much my own boss and I have to make sure I'm setting time aside for each of my daily tasks. And I think good time management is crucial for like getting important things done. And for me, it also helps reduce like stress and burnout. Like if I
Yep.
pile things up into the last minute, I will get so stressed to the point where I just won't get it done. So I think
Yeah.
time management and setting certain tasks aside for different days or different hours just helps me so much in getting the important things done.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, with the schedules that we had, like with cheerleading, with school, with, all of it, I feel like you had to develop time management. Like there was no other way
Yes.
because our coach would tell us that, 15 minutes early is on time.
Mhm.
We had, a place to be every single day and we were expected to be there 15 minutes early. And while that can be hard, when you're in it, it's such an amazing lesson to like follow you in life because now I'm, going to a hair appointment 15 minutes early and I'm gonna go, I'm on time. Like it's
Yep,
crazy like how that becomes muscle memory and it's like such a good lesson to have.
for sure.
So kind of, I know you like touched on this a little bit, but over the summer you started a social media agency, Mind Over Media. How did you come up with this name and idea?
Yeah, so since my senior year of college, I knew I wanted to work somewhere in the social media world.
Hmm.
So I started applying to job after job. I did so much research on all of these jobs back home. I really wanted to work in Tampa, so any social media agency, any marketing agency. I was researching and applying and reaching out, and I just never ended up hearing from any. I did get one interview with something that was not even what it was supposed to be. It was like a sales thing, but it definitely was not what I wanted to do.
Yep.
So finally, I just got sick of all of the doors closing my face. So I like to say I opened up a window, and I've always
I
had
love
the
that.
idea of owning my own social media agency kind of in the back of my mind, but I think I was just so afraid of failure that I didn't immediately pursue it. And my own thoughts kept me from succeeding in this area. And in cheerleading and in my life, my mom would always tell me, mind over matter, meaning that like with the right mindset, you can push through different difficulties or achieve your goals. And that's kind of how I came up with the name Mind Over Media.
I love that. No, that's like originally what I thought when I saw your, when you posted this and you were showing me everything, I thought of Mind Over Matter. And I was like, "Oh, that is so cool. Like, I love that." So that's amazing to hear the story on that.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
Um,
little play on words.
yes, no, I love it. So now, how difficult is it for you to manage your social media agency business and you're a content creator yourself? So, you're kind of posting social media content, helping others with that while doing it yourself. Like, what is that like?
Yeah, so going back to that lesson of time management,
Yep.
I think it's so important to make time for the thing you love to do. Even I mentioned this, so I made a YouTube video back in college talking about um, something about UF, but I did mention like it's so important to make time for the things that you love to do. So if you're coming from high school, you love to cook, you need to make sure you make time to do that in college because if you're just there to go to school, you're gonna get burnt out. So,
Yep.
you know, make time for the things you love to do. And for me, that's content creation. So I feel like I'm so blessed to be able to take what I love to do and make it into a career. And with that being said, every day when the clock strikes 5 and I'm off work, I start creating content for myself.
Oh, I
That's
love
just like it's
that.
fun for me, and managing my business while creating my own content requires such strong organization and boundaries and planning. So when it's time to work, I work. When it's time to play, I play.
Yes, no, I love that. Now, this can be a question for the listeners, but also a personal question for me. How would you say that you kind of keep that creative spark when you are like creating your own content? So you're having to like brainstorm and come up with all these ideas for, brands and other people. How do you keep that creative, like the creative juices flowing for yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's so easy as someone who's creative to experience burnout and fatigue and lose your creative touch, but I think the biggest thing that's helped me, unfortunately, I've already had a little spell of this.
Yeah.
But I think something that helped me was changing my environment. So usually I
Okay.
work from home, but if I need to get out of the house, I'll go to like a park and work or go to a coffee shop and work and see new people. And it also helps, to reach out to people who are also in your industry and chat with them and get their insights and what they're doing. It's really cool to see that. And you can meet so many new people that way and also kind of bounce ideas off of each other. And I think that's a great way to build relationships and get those creative juices flowing again.
Yes. Okay. No, I love that. That's a great piece of advice.
Yeah.
So now going off of that, what is the biggest piece of advice you could give to future entrepreneurs that hope to venture down the path that you are currently on?
Yeah, my biggest piece of advice is to always remember your why. Why do you want to start? What's your purpose? And how can you help improve somebody else's life? I think if you can build your business on like these questions, you'll be successful. I think the biggest thing about this is, the business owner path has so many ups and downs, but if you're driven by purpose, it's so much easier to navigate challenges and grow that way. If you're thinking, how can I make the most sales versus how can I meet the needs of my potential client? I think the second way is the best way to look at it because again, if you're driven by purpose, it's so much easier to navigate those challenges.
Yes, no, I love that. I feel like that's what I tend to go back to as well, because if you don't have your why, I feel like you're not going to be able to succeed really, because, you're focusing on the current task that you have. And I feel like that's going back to how you said it's very easy to become burnt out or stressed or kind of give up. But if you have that solid why, you're always like chasing to, accomplish that. So I feel like that's amazing.
Absolutely.
So, if you could have done something different when creating this business, what would it be?
So I think if I could change anything, I would have liked to work for a social media agency before starting my own. I think working for a successful company in your field is so valuable. You can learn so many different things about the industry and understand what works and what doesn't. You can kind of see it from afar before stepping into that role. So I think that would be a great way to get some insights on the ins and outs of the business before taking the leap of my own.
Yes, no, I can see that. What are some future goals or plans you have for your business that we can hope to look forward to?
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be able to expand. I would love to hire a team of social media managers, content creators, and photographers, and hopefully even more. My ultimate goal is to become a full service marketing agency so that my clients can have a one-stop shop for all marketing services. I think having a team is so important, and that's, obviously what we're used to. So I'm very excited to be able to build my own team and start the interview process and meet new people. And yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. That would be
Yeah.
amazing. No,
Yeah.
as soon as you said like I want to build a team, I was like, oh my gosh, because me and Nate, which is another one of our close friends, we always like joke that we're gonna come and join Riley's social media agency so that we can all work together, which would be a dream. That would be amazing.
Yes,
So we'll
please.
see. Guys, look out for the future. Okay, so before we move on to our next segment, I want to ask you to give us a look into your notes app. What is the best piece of advice you have ever been given, or your favorite quote that has stuck with you?
Oh my gosh, my notes app. I write everything down. Like if I don't write it down, I will forget. So my notes are
Same.
so crazy. But
Yep.
I think the best piece of advice, again, going back to, my business name,
Hmm.
mind over matter has to be the saying that has always stuck with me. It's such a short saying, but it has deep
Yep.
meaning. And it's a great reminder that your mind is just so much more powerful than you think it is, and our mental strength can be stronger than any discomfort we may face. I think mind over matter actually came, funny story. My mom, when I mentioned my mom used to tell me that, she used to tell me that before going out to compete for All-Star Cheer,
Oh, yeah.
if I would ever get nervous backstage, she'd be like, mind over matter, mind over matter. You're gonna be fine, you know? And that was so true. I think
Yep.
your mind can do so many things. When you think about the broad picture, and when she used to tell me that backstage, I would realize like this is just a cheerleading competition. It's gonna be over in 2 minutes and
Right.
30 seconds. Like I can do this for 2 minutes and 30 seconds and it's all gonna be fine after this.
Yes. No, I love that example because I feel like that's something that cheerleading definitely taught me. Like you said, mind over matter. Like everyone would say that. And it's, you can do anything for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And I feel like that was the biggest thing in cheerleading is so much of it, which people don't realize, is mental. And it's so
Yes.
crazy because you can do something for most of your life and then randomly wake up one day and your mind's telling you you can't do it, like mental.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
It's
yes.
so crazy because you really do. You have to every day, like you're working out your body, but you also have to work out your mind. Like I love when people say that your mind is like a muscle that you have to like strengthen and work out essentially. And cheerleading
Mhm.
was like the biggest testament to that because I mean, one day I'd wake up and be like, I can't flip my body when I've done it like my whole life. And it's crazy.
Right.
It's so crazy to see that happen. But it's honestly a really good lesson that you can take throughout your life that you can do things even if your mind's telling you can't do it.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's so cool. Okay. So now we're going to move into a segment I like to call Tea Time, where we're going to discuss all things sports, the drama, the gossip, and the piping hot tea. So I'm going to have two questions and kind of two topics that we're going to like quickly talk about because I want to get your thoughts on this sports drama.
All right.
Okay. So I know that you love basketball, so I'm going to give you a basketball one. So give us your thoughts on how LeBron James is entering his age 40 season with the first-time head coach, JJ Redick, and his son, Bronny James, on the Lakers with him this season. And Bronny was the most scrutinized 55th pick in history. So, what are your thoughts on Bronny being drafted on the same team as his dad, LeBron, and them getting to have some court time playing together?
Oh my gosh. I think about this is such a cool question because I can kind of relate to it on some level.
Okay.
So obviously my mom was a cheer coach. She was a cheerleader. So
Mhm.
I just think it would be so cool to be able to cheer with my mom. So
Right?
thinking
Yes.
about it from that standpoint, I'm like, well, he must feel so honored. But then again, LeBron is getting old. Like
Right.
that's history right there. Like he's
It
old and his
is.
own child is on the same NBA team as him. I think that is insane. But good for them. And I'm sure that has so much meaning to them. I'm sure they played when Bronny was young and
Yep.
shot together, and now they're doing it at the professional level. I think that is so unique and special.
No, see, that's the exact like perspective I took with it because people scrutinize Bronny and then him being drafted to the Lakers and they have all these things to say about it. But honestly, how cool. Like that is absolutely amazing that they get that opportunity to like play together. Like
Yeah.
not even be in the NBA at the same time, not even be on the same team, but like they've gotten playing time. So like getting to see that, I was like, I mean, that is amazing. That like how many
Right.
people can say that? It's crazy. So no,
Exactly.
I saw the same perspective. Okay. So the last one is, do you know Paige Lorenz?
I do.
Okay, amazing. So Paige Lorenz, for anyone that doesn't know, is an influencer, socialite, and business owner. She has Dairy Boy Home, all the things. So her boyfriend, Tommy Paul, has been a star on the pro tennis tour. And, Paige shows her life on social media, and she's joined Tommy on most of his stops along the pro tennis tour over the past several years. So cheering him on, supporting him, and she often shares these travels, on her YouTube channel. And he recently won the Queen's Club Championship a few months ago. And Paige joined Tommy on the courts for like a brief celebration, took some photos with him, and they were both holding the trophy at one point. And she posted those on her Instagram. And oh my gosh, she got so much backlash for this. It was insane. People were calling her a clout chaser, a trophy wife, like all these things for simply posting, them celebrating and holding the trophy. So I want to hear what your thoughts are on this and kind of like can you even see like where this backlash is coming from?
Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
I
I didn't
know it
know
was.
that. But I think I always like to put myself into the other person's shoes to kind of see where they're coming from, if I think that's like right, ethical, all the things. So I think if I was Paige, I would probably have done the same thing. If
Yep.
she didn't have a huge social media following, I don't think it would have been entirely
No.
a
Yeah.
big deal at all. Like she is supporting her significant other and the thing that he loves to do, and she got to share that moment with him. So I think that's what's special, and aw, she didn't deserve the backlash on that.
I know. That's what I like literally I had no idea what was going on when I saw this like, on the TikTok for you page, like all these articles about her. I thought like something happened, like maybe she
Hmm.
posted something controversial. Like I had no idea. And when I saw it was because of her post, like because I already liked that. Like I liked that, moved past it. I was like that's cute. And I was seeing
Hmm.
all this backlash and I was like what are we doing? Like that is insane. She's literally like cuz the thing is like it would be one thing if, they had just started dating. She popped out at this, thing and she doesn't even support him, but she went down there to take a picture with the trophy. Like maybe,
Right.
But like they've been dating for several years. She goes to basically every competition with him. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? No, I did not see it at all. I thought it was very cute. So, but
Yeah,
anyway,
totally
so
agree.
that's all I have for the piping hot tea. But I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us today on the Beyond the Playbook podcast and sharing some of your experiences and insights. So, lastly, can you just, give us your socials, where we can find you and, keep up with your busy, exciting life?
Oh my gosh, sure. My business name is Mind Over Media on everything, just not TikTok yet. We might get there eventually.
We'll get there. Yep.
But my daily life, if you have any interest on that, is just Riley Andrews and on Instagram and Ryleenicole Andrews on TikTok. And yeah, I post like every single day, so there's always something to watch.
And the YouTube. Riley's on YouTube.
Oh, yes, of course, YouTube once a week, That's just Ryleenicole.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode, and we love to hear more about you.
Thanks, Kelsey. I had so much fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Beyond the Playbook with Rylee Andrews. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give us a like, leave us a comment below, and be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you never miss a future episode. See you guys next week.